Is you watching this for me? Hi everybody, I'm just gonna clip this. Alright, the reason we started this, I was telling Tara earlier, this is something I've been meaning to do for probably 8 years now. Alright, something I've been meaning to do for 8 years now. Ooh. I think we're good. All right, something I've been meaning to do for 8 years now. It started as a need while I was in training in residency, and the real need at the time was the stress that most of the physicians in training were going through. Brooklyn, New York, very different environment for most people who were coming in from obviously all over the world, all over the country. Natalie here grew up in Brooklyn, so she knows exactly what I'm talking about. It was a very challenging environment to be a physician in, and a lot of people internalized the stress to the point where it started to steal from the joy of why they got into that profession, to the point where it started to change who they thought they were, because they had to survive. They had to survive in a very rough environment. And it was a lot of, I felt it was a lot of capital in terms of human capacity being lost because of stress. But that's just a microcosm of what we deal with in modern day. The same thing happens in most other places. Most people lose who they are because of stress. They lose their essence, the real people, the real person they are internally, because of the stress of modern day. And what happens is most people tend to start to live as a tiny version of themselves, where they have dreams but it's out the window. Now they have to survive. They had aspirations from growing up, it's out the window. Now they have to survive. And it's practical. It is practical. You can't be chasing, in New York they talk about the starving artist, right? You can't be, my bad. You can't be chasing your goal, your mission with all that stress and expect that you would achieve anything really. And that was the reason why I thought in training that we should start a program called Clarity Sessions. And the reason why we wanted to start it was because it will help people finally, with all the noise of, modern day training, work, raising a family for most people, with all that noise, they finally get to sit down and reevaluate the purpose of their lives. Fast forward 8 years, the same thing is still happening, wherever it is that most of us work. We see people who are living just tiny versions of themselves because they just managing to deal with the stress of modern life. Or I won't really give modernity a bad rap as much as that, because obviously there's been stress at different times. It just changes. Now it feels like there's a lot more noise. The noises come from everywhere. Social media, your phones, the TV, wars. It's like everything calling your attention away from who you are and adding stress. In what we do in lifestyle medicine, we are able to draw a very clear line from stress and morbidity, from stress to morbidity. Very, very clear line. Everybody understands, at least nowadays, understands the impact of inflammation. And most people tend to attribute inflammation to, just the food that you eat. The nutrients and all of that is true, it's important. In fact, most of what we do now is trying to get people on the right nutrition, just so they can live better. But we forget the stress is a bigger contributor to inflammation. It's very simple. I'll tell you the pathophysiology right now. Cortisol, which we've talked about in many of our sessions, it's a hormone that is inside of us. It was put in there for a reason. And the reason it was put in there is for stressful periods, very short, often very short, where your body needs to use glucose. The brain needs to use glucose. So cortisol goes into the liver and some of the other cells, asks those cells to push glucose into the blood so the brain can have access to it. Then the brain uses it, deals with the stress, it's over, back to rest, till you have to deal with it again. And then cortisol will be called upon again. But imagine a world where you have that all the time. 24 hours. Even your sleep is stressful because the way you went to bed, something on your mind. It remains, you think you're falling asleep, but your brain still continues to process those things. You wake up, oh God, I got to go to work. You know, the same thing. You go to work, the same thing. They stress you out even more. And you come home, you know, traffic, all that. You go home, all the challenges at home, and you're doing that 24/7. All that sugar in the blood, cortisol gets confused. The sugar now starts to attach to your proteins, what we call non-enzymatic glycosylation of proteins, which causes most of the diseases that kill people. Till today, cardiovascular disease is still the #1 cause of death. Most people will think cancer, but it's not. It's cardiovascular disease. Maybe you throw cancer in there as a second. In some places, third, depending on whether it's whether there are wars and things like that. What is the link between these two situations? They're all inflammatory-based conditions. Cardiovascular disease, whether it's a stroke, a heart attack, peripheral arterial disease, all are from inflammation, from the stress we engage every single day. And most people want to fix it. We all want to fix it. Everybody wants to get rid of the stress. Everybody wants to live happy and just, jolly, bouncing up and down. But it's difficult to do. And the reason why it's difficult to do is because most people haven't realized why they are here. Most people don't have the bandwidth to understand why they've been put on earth. Exact reason why they've been put on earth. There's something I say a lot about a phrase or a statement that Mark Twain, the great American humorist, said. It says, there's two important days in a man's life, in a person's life, in a human being's life. And that's the day they're born and the day they realize why they were born. Why this program is important is it allows you to attack the barriers that prevents you from that life. The barriers that blocks you from actually owning who you are and going out in the world and serving humanity with the gift, the natural gift that been put inside of you. Most people have dreams. We had a lot of them when we were younger. But as you get older, you start to rationalize, man, it don't make sense. I'm going to be doing too much. I'm just going to sit in my little situation here, don't rock the boat, just, keep it coming. It's steady, it's predictable, it feels easier. But as many of the masters talk about the good fight is really the fight towards your purpose. Everybody has to have that fight. Everybody has to fight that fight. Because if you don't fight the fight, your soul will tell you. It will trouble you. Every day you stay away from fighting that fight, it'll keep nudging you. And then you stop hearing it. Eventually you stop hearing it. But all of the chaos it's providing is internal. You say, I just don't feel good. I don't have the energy. Nothing excites me anymore. Mental health is an epidemic nowadays. It is an epidemic all over the world. The rich, poor, everybody's getting something to deal with that at least we make a diagnosis out of. A lot of that is because a lot of the things that we've silenced now turn into chaos inside of us. Then add all of the pressures, all of the stresses of the modern day on top of that. It's unbearable for most people. Most people know how unbearable it is, but they're ashamed to admit it, especially men. We know how unbearable it is. We'd be like, nah, I'm tough like that. But nobody really is that tough. Eventually, it messes up the whole inside because you can't express it. If you were to express it, you go to jail. But it has to destroy something. The chaos has to destroy something. So it destroys you from the inside. And the tissues, the organs stop working the way that they were intended to work. And that's why we need this. That's why this is important. That's why we need to do this, to really, take over and take our lives back from the demands of this world that, doesn't match with what we are here for. And we do it individually. Most people have, their religious alignment that allows them to deal with it. But we can do it through community as well, whether it's in a religious setting, in a professional setting, or in a community setting that's focused on health and wellness like ours. Most of what we're trying to do, we're trying to take it into the corporate world and try to take it to other places where people can actually benefit. But this is the beginning of that journey for us, and I'm hoping you'd be travelers on that journey with us, God willing. All right, so if you look at the book in your hand, there are several sections of it. Most of the sections are based on a particular theme. There are several instructions. A lot of the instructions are the same for most of the exercises. So it'd be repetitive, but while we go through those sections, we discuss things in there and try to share ideas and try to help each other escape, this matrix that we find ourselves in. Everything is connected. Everything is connected. Which one of us here doesn't actually breathe every day? All of us do, right? We take breaths in and breath out. We don't think about them as much as we need to, but we do. It's essential. It starts, your ability to take your life back starts in how much of the involuntary things that you do that you start to take back to something as simple as breathing. Now, there's 1,001 strategies to achieve health and wellness through breathing. I won't bore you with any of those specifics. I just want you to witness the magic and the miracle of your own breathing. Just witness it. You don't need to close your eyes. You can close your eyes if you want, whatever you want to do. Just witness that magic. And I'll tell you what is happening while you're witnessing it. You're taking this beautiful molecule from the atmosphere. It goes into your nose, it crosses the mucosa in your nose, the membranes in your nose, and it travels in your blood, eventually gets to your blood via the lungs. Goes through the mucosa, goes through the trachea, goes through the smaller windpipes, gets to your lungs, gets into the blood. The blood takes it to the heart, and then the heart nourishes every one of your tissues with it. That's a miracle. I don't know if everybody agrees with me. That is an incredible miracle. Because just imagine you're that oxygen molecule, and imagine all the places you have to visit, all of the places you're traveling through. While you imagine it, just witness your breathing. Just witness it. Just witness it. Just participate in that miracle. Participate in that beauty. Participate in that magic, really. It's simple. It feels, I can control it, but it's mighty. It's mighty if you notice it, if you witness it. And in that one thing, just witnessing that, my God. You can find healing through that. As simple as that. Some of the simpler techniques could be with the 4x4 breathing, where you take it in all the way, take it out all the way till your lungs shrink to the smallest size, and do that 4 times. So you can practice that. We'll take some time to practice that if you want. Just deep breath all the way. Don't hold it. All the way. Let your lungs expand as much as they need to, and do it again. Breathe out all the way till your lungs get to their smallest size. And just take a minute and do that. Do it 4 times. You don't need to rush it. Just let it happen. Let it happen naturally. Let it happen. Let it happen. Let it happen. Let it happen. Let it go to its extent. While you're doing that, you start to notice that the limitations that you've given to yourself are just made up in your head. Because there's a whole lot more. Most of us breathe, but there's a whole lot more breathing you got inside of you. There's a whole lot more. And it tells you really the limitations, the stories you've told yourself about how far you can go are made up. They're happening because you've never really stopped to witness the miracle you're living. You've never really stopped to witness the magic you're living. Because if you stop to witness it, you will believe a lot more about what you can do. Because if you think, if you wake up and see the magic of the sun when it rises and the magic of the sun when it sets, whew, The one who created that obviously created something similar inside of you. The same magic, the same mighty presence that you find in the sun, you can find it inside of you. It's exactly the same thing, because the one who made it made you. So even from breathing, you can start to identify some of the lies you've told yourself. Oh, nah, not me. Nah, it's not gonna happen for me. Who am I? You know, I don't look as they look. I don't dress as they dress. I don't come from where they come from. Who told you that? Who told you that? Somebody lied to you. Somebody lied to you. Somebody told you, ooh, no, you can't do it. You have to tell them the truth. You have to tell them the truth of who you are, who made you, the power that you have inside of you. You don't need it from nobody. It's already inside. Just from breathing. Just from breathing. Just from breathing, allowing yourself to breathe and seeing how far you can go. So practice that as much as you can. We have the what's it called now? The cotton balls, yeah.
Those are scented with lavender, because that's a very calming scent, and it's just so you can take with you. You can use it now, you can take it with you, use it again. It's just to help remind you of everything that you're learning tonight and bring you back to that calming place.
Right. So I would say the importance of that is just bringing your awareness back to witnessing. We don't stop to witness. We don't. We like see something, boom, we want to run. You know, a student of mine, because I tell people I'm a musician outside of my job as a physician, because I really like to play music and make music. So I talked to my students about a lot of these things, and they told me about an artist, and I think it was an Indian artist, and they were trying to show me the music, and they wanted to play the music for me, and I had to listen because I want to honor the artist. And the natural thing we do, if it doesn't fit our immediate vibe, we're like, okay, I'm just gonna listen a little bit, turn it off, let's keep talking. But in that moment, I realized this person went through all of what they went through to make this beautiful piece of art. The least I can do is to witness it with them, to experience it with them. I had to sit and listen for 4 minutes without interruption. And after the song, I was a different person, because I heard the song, I heard the art, I heard the work inside of it, I heard the dreams in there, I heard the intentions in there, I heard the magic, the beauty, all of that in there. It transformed me for something I didn't really want to do. And that's what we have to start doing in our everyday. You don't want to stop and witness the sun that's come out, because you're so in a hurry to go attack that thing that, won't change nothing in your day. Just stop and witness it for a little bit. It might change your day. Witness it. Witness the magic in it. Witness the beauty in it. Be a witness to the work of the one who's created that. And you're, in that moment, partaking in this beautiful thing called life. It is a beautiful thing. And like some of the masters say, when you're fighting the good fight, one of the essential things you have to do is to see life as a grand adventure. You can't be pessimistic about life. It doesn't serve you any good. It doesn't do any, you might feel that it serves a good because now you're protecting yourself. Like, okay, the world is crap, so I don't have to expect much out of the world, so I won't get heartbroken. Guess what? You're still gonna get heartbroken. That is part of life. No matter how much you insulate yourself from the realities of the world, your heart will still break, and there is beauty in the heartbreak because it makes you human. And being human is what most of us needs to start doing now. We're not robots, we're not computers. In fact, the computers stand a better chance of taking over if we start to act like them. Does that make sense? They stand a better chance. They do better than us. You think I can remember everything ChatGPT remembers? Hell no. Nobody can do that. No human being can do it. I don't care who you are. Be Einstein. No, you can't remember how much a computer remembers. So start acting human. Don't act like the computer. Be human. Stop to greet people. Be interested in their stories. Be interested in their lives, because it helps you. It makes the struggle of your own life less. when you share a common human experience, you don't get so isolated in yourself and say, oh, woe is me, I really had a bad, turn of this. Because there's many people that have exactly the same thing you're dealing with. You might think it's unique until you realize, ooh, everybody's dealing with it. Everybody's dealing with it. And it's important to stop and notice, and the smell, whatever it is today, it just calls your attention to something. Even if it doesn't fit your vibe, but it at least calls your attention to something, and that's important. And now, we'll go to the places where we start to come out of ourselves and actually start to call for something outside of ourselves that brings us out of that, from behind that veil that we've put on ourselves. And that is enthusiasm. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I'm Nigerian but is it, how do you say it? I did. Good. Very good. I wanted that. Very good. All right. Enthusiasm, right? In some traditions, it's believed that the realm of the Creator belongs to the kids. And I think it's a very Christian understanding that the kingdom of God, belongs to the kids. But you'd realize that the message in that story is really directed at the kids inside of all of us. The kid inside of all of us. Why? Because the kids are enthusiastic about whatever it is they're enthusiastic about. And that yearning of that goodness, the trust that it can happen, is perhaps one of the strongest human, human practices. It's one of the most powerful of what we offer to each other as human beings. Kids haven't been injured by life. So they're like, ooh, it's happening. It's always going to be grand. They wake up, they want to play, they want to jump, they want to do that. But everybody fighting the good fight for their purpose has to be a kid. You have to look at life as a grand adventure. And you have to wake up every day witnessing that grandness, acknowledging that grandness, not feeling shy about acknowledging the grandness. Yeah, you're too happy. Yeah, that's your business. If you think it's bad to be happy, that's your stupidity. It's not my problem. It's not mine. I will decide what I want to feel. And it won't be based on another person's fears, insecurities, mine is mine. I have to worry. I can't control everybody else. I can't tell everybody else to think how I think. But I have to make sure that I take care of mine. And it's important to do so, because that's how you realize your purpose. You can't, there's a concept that I came across a while back. I kind of named it in my head, fake morality. And fake morality can be thought of in many different ways. Politeness, right? You're polite to somebody, you're greeting them nice, right? You have to ask yourself inside, is that politeness from the outside or is it from the inside? Because if it's from the outside, it's not sustainable. It's going to slip sometime and the truth's going to be out. Everybody's going to know what you really are about. But if it is from inside, it's sustainable because you don't have to fake it. And a lot of our moralities are fake. A lot of our intentions to satisfy other people's expectations and be like everybody else is fake. Because a lot of them are not true to us. And kindness, that is to serve self, is not needed. It's not needed. It's not needed. So you have to think of you know what they say on the plane, before you put the mask on the other person, put it on yours. You have to find yourself before you can genuinely serve another person. And it's important, if you really care about serving another person, it makes it crucial that you find yourself. It makes it all eternally important that you find what is good about you so you can be whole enough to, serve somebody else. Now you can be in the process of it, but at least you're in the process of it. But not be mindfully acting, like you're trying to save the world. Well, inside you could care less about the world.
Call it the overflow.
The overflow. Tell me about that, Natalie.
You help people, you serve people out of your overflow.
Fantastic.
If you are not where you should be in terms of your heart, your spirit, your mindset,
Right.
emotionally, spiritually, then it is fake morality.
Yeah.
But when you are full, it's easy to serve others.
Easy. It just flows.
Overflow.
It just flows, right? It's full here and it's just like spilling all over.
Yes, sir.
Whew. I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for that. And again, you realize, and one of the things that I personally realize is, there is an understanding in certain parts of the world that all things are one, in the sense that most things align wherever they come from, if they are true. If they are true, truth always finds its tentacles. You might be coming from different tradition, I'm coming from different traditions, but if what we're saying is true, we'll find a link in it. So something as beautiful as that, it just makes so much sense to me. I don't even need to think about it because it's so intuitive, if you could use that word, that if you find yourself and you're full from inside, it's for the taking. You're giving it. People can feel it. People can feel it. They feel that you're not trying to steal something from them. You're trying to give something to them. And that's why if we really cared about others, we have to find ourselves. We have to be in the process. There's no real destination. It's a process. But the process is the destination. And while you're doing that, you're able to serve other people. So now, enthusiasm, as I said earlier, is a powerful human force. And we're going to practice that now. We're going to practice it in actually visualizing our happy place. We're not trying to visualize our ultimate goal and our grand idea. We're just trying to picture where we find peace, what that looks like, what it tastes like, what it feels like. You can close your eyes for this one because it's going to require a lot more imagination. And you need that clarity from closing your eyes. Just think of that place where you find peace. For some people, it could be a sound. For some people, it's a space. For some people, it's a texture. For some people, it's a face. It's different things for different people, but you have to find yours. Where's that place for you? Take some time to engage. Take some time to enjoy. Take some time to actually be there. Don't worry about nothing else. Things will take care of itself. Just find your happy place. And smile at what it is. Smile at that thing that it is. Some people, it doesn't even come clear, but you feel it. Rejoice in that. See what that does to your body. Feel the ease, feel the peace. And in that space, recognize your true self in there, where you don't have to be worried about nothing. You're not jittery about stress. You're just your true self, because that's where you belong. And let yourself walk around that place. Let yourself see that face. Let yourself hear even move maybe to the sound. And thank God for it, because it exists. It exists. It exists. It exists. It does exist. It's there. You're there right now. You're there. You're there. It's real. You can feel it. You can open your eyes. most of what we aspire to be, that, or most of places we aspire to be, or who we aspire to be, or whatever thing that we're pursuing, it is only an aspiration because it is possible. Because if it wasn't possible, you wouldn't imagine it. It won't come to your consciousness at all. If it comes to your consciousness, it's real. Then the question is, how do you get there? But oftentimes, the getting there is not an external thing. External could do whatever it does. The getting there is an internal thing. Because once you go back inwards and you connect to who you truly are, you move in the world in a way that clears all the roads and all the doors for you to get exactly where you want to be. Everybody just moves around or facilitates you getting there. When you come correct, like they say, parts where I come from, when you come as yourself, everything opens. But we're so scared to come as ourselves. We're so scared to come as ourselves. We've been told so many things, like, you're not good enough, you don't meet the standards. All lies. All lies from people who have their own fears, and they were just transferring it to us. Who have their own insecurities, and they just want to, share their insecurity. Take, so I don't feel alone in my fears and insecurities. But you don't need it. That's not yours. It's nothing to do with you. It's theirs. Let them figure themselves out. You figure yourself out. Because when you figure yourself out, you probably can help them. But if you don't figure yourself out, they're lost too. They talk about the crab mentality, right? Where crabs in a barrel, one is trying to get out and all of them trying to drag the crab back in the barrel. But the crabs don't realize the best thing you can do for yourself is let that crab get out. Because once that crab gets out, you get the permission. You get the permission that you could do it too. Who wants to stay in the barrel? Nobody wants to stay there. That's not a sentence we want. We all want to get out. But most of the times when we see somebody getting out, it's like, nah, let's party here forever. For what good? Who does that serve? Let that one crab get out. Because once that one crab gets out, then we all have a chance. And that's the importance of community, because through community, we're able to serve ourselves. So this part, you have pens. You can write down, again, this is going to be a book. You don't have to show it to anybody. You can write down, in as much detail as you remember, what that happy place looked like to you, what you could visualize from that place. Whatever it is, a face, a sound, a space, a color, nature, whatever it is. Liz, can you check if it's still recording, please? Is it red still? All right, good. Liz, can you check the battery power while everybody writes that stuff? The battery power, so I know if we have to switch as soon. Thank you. All right, perfect timing, right? While everybody writes it down, I'm going to change the battery of that. Thank you. Something about what we visualize. That's going to be for you. The reason why that is important is you'll be able to look back after a while and actually see for yourselves when the distractions come. When the distractions come and try to take you away from those places, you'll be able to go back and say, that place was real. I didn't make it up in my head. I actually wrote it down. So it grounds it in a way. And you're doing it all the time, there's something to always go back and look and say, that's my space, that's my spot, that's my place. And you put yourself on the quest to constantly try to get there. And like I said, it's not a destination, it's a process. And the process is the destination. So, if anybody wanted to, you could share what that looks like. And again, I'll just share mine if that works. But if anybody, Natalie, thank you. Let me give you a microphone. So it's easier. Hold that.
I'm not sure, well, I'll just say this is my happy place.
Right.
To experience silence and peace, mindfulness and clarity in every space, everywhere I am,
Amen.
everything I'm doing, in every conversation,
Amen.
in every moment.
Amen.
And I say silence just because my brain is always going. It's a constant fight to slow it down.
We call it the monkey brain.
Yeah, just
We
to
all
be
have it.
able to slow it down enough to experience some silence, force peace, and mindfulness. So again, that's back to my brain running and clarity. In every place, in every space. That means it doesn't matter where I am or what's going on around me. I have a place.
Amen. That's incredibly beautiful. Thank you so much for that. A round of applause for her, please. Wow. Because,
Dr. Shaw?
yes, Dr. Shaw, fantastic. All right.
Well, you made me a kid.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Fantastic.
Becoming a kid is something
Fantastic.
enjoyable, so innocent,
Yes.
filled with so much positive enthusiasm,
Yes.
hopes,
Yes.
and whatnot.
Yes.
One of my happy place or activity, and even if I'm not doing activity, if I remember that, I feel so good about it, is I love painting sunrise. That's my place.
Wow.
So, and I have seen it again and again. I will try to, whenever I go anywhere, I'll try to look at the sunrise.
Wow.
And then I will take picture and then I will paint it. It doesn't matter how the painting
Comes
does
out,
come
yes.
But that painting the sunrise is my happy place. So I just want to.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. And another round of applause for Dr. Shaw. Thank you. All right. So, just from that, because, community is powerful because we share. That's the power of community. There's nothing else as powerful in community than sharing. Because in sharing, we share so much. We share the weight. The burden. We share the pain of, a lot of things that we think we want and we don't have, we are able to share in one way or the other. Why do we have support groups? Why do they work? It's because when you go there and you're dealing with something, you see another human being who's dealing with it. And what do you do in that moment? You share with them and they share with you. And the weight becomes easier. It's easier if we're all trying to share it together. And that's why part of the ways that we enjoy ourselves and others is to paint life in a way that is only good when it's good for me and not good for you. We think we get away with it. We get that nice, Chanel bag, and we're excited about it because it makes us better than the other person. You're hurting yourself eventually. You know why? When you see another thing that you want, that you probably can't get in that time, that voice that you put out in the world will come back into your ears. You're not good enough, and that's why you don't have it. Because everybody always wants something, right? I don't care what it is. Everybody wants something. Everybody wants something they can't get. Tell me that person in the world who doesn't want something they can't get. Everybody does. And when you've put out that notion in the world such that you have things that other people don't have and that makes you better than them, it's coming back to you. is coming back to you, because you're going to find something that you want that you can't get, and you're going to tell yourself exactly that same story. I don't have it because I'm not good enough. I'm not as good as them. And that haunts you. That kills. That is part of why people suffer. You would assume that in a world that has so much abundance, there's still a lot of mental health issues. So it's really never about the material. It's about what we share, what we put out in the world, the stories we tell ourselves about ourselves and about others. Those stories will come back to help us if they are good, and they'll come back to hurt us if they are bad. And it's important that we do that for ourselves. What community does is it brings everybody to a level playing ground. Nobody's better. Everybody's trying to figure out their stuff, Everybody's just trying to figure it out as we go. And we're all in the journey, and it's beautiful primarily because we're all in it together, really. So we did that part. Now, we get to a lot more practical stuff now, because that's really the point of this whole thing. Practical matters. It's beyond visualizing, it's beyond sharing and verbalizing. It's about doing. Everything is about doing. But before you do, you have to identify the reasons why you're not doing. And there's a lot to unpack there. There's a lot. Probably we'll sit here for another 30 days straight trying to unpack all of the reasons why we're not. But a lot of them are simple, actually. And they're all story-based. Why is it that one of the most powerful means of sharing and communication since the beginning of time is story? In music we tell stories, in art we tell stories, in history we tell stories, in entertainment we're all constantly telling stories. Whatever those stories are, it can vary, but we're constantly telling stories. You know why? Because you're constantly telling stories to yourself about the world. That's how you make sense of the world. From when you're growing up, you're like, okay, what is the world made of? If you came up in an environment that was harsh and cruel and brutal, it's going to be impossible for you to tell yourself another story about the world other than what you saw. If God wills, you grow up and you get to experience more things, and now you have to start reshaping that story, which is very difficult, because trauma, man, the body keeps the score. The body keeps the score. The body keeps the score. And it's a battle, man, for all of us. Really for all of us. A lot of what we're trying to do now, why it's so much more difficult, is because it's not just about the doing. It's about reversing the stories we've told ourselves all our lives. And that's a much more heavier thing to battle. Well, listen, we're fighting the good fight, and we have to battle it. Fighting the good fight, I was saying something recently, is about two very important things. It's about, I already told you earlier that it's about living life and accepting or seeing life as a grand adventure. Meaning it's filled with possibilities. It's never bad. I was asking Chuck earlier about the story of the South Charlotte area for the last 30 years, because I just find out, he's been here that time. And I thought it was interesting to be able to see what has happened in all that time, because I've been here 6 years now, right? Liz has similar experiences because she's been here a lot. I think most of you as well, right? Just give me an idea of what worked, what failed, what survived, what, through that time. I feel like those kind of insights really help you understand how you want to be in that world. Even from a business perspective, you kind of want to understand how people thinking before you offer things that might help them, how you offer them, the way you communicate. That has to be based on the story you've told yourself about that place, and the real story, if you could cross-reference it. But we have to do that internally as well. For us to fight the good fight, we have to revisit those stories. So back to what I was saying earlier, the grandness of life, always filled with possibilities, because part of the story was, for almost 20 years, this whole area was dormant. Nothing was moving, from like the financial crisis. Nothing was until a certain time. Nobody knows specifically why things turn around, and it's almost impossible to get a house in that area now. So imagine you stayed in your shell for that 20 years thinking life had no possibilities, and just when it was going to open up, you gave up. You lose. To be able to live life every single day without understanding that it's filled with possibilities is one of the biggest things you'll ever do for yourself. It's actually one of your biggest superpowers. It's incredibly powerful. So that's one of the things that is important in fighting the good fight. Understanding, appreciating, acknowledging the grandness of life. Optimism, enthusiasm is incredibly crucial. The first one is the foundational part to that. Because what is possibilities if it's not something that is brought to be by a hand that is bigger than our concept or our imagination? What are those possibilities? Because those possibilities are the reality of the universe, that God does whatever He wills, whenever He wills, however He wills. So the first part of this fighting the good fight is an unwavering faith in the power of God. And this is not a religious setting by any means, but I think most of us have some connection. If you tell me you're atheist, I don't mind. You believe in something, right? Even believing in nothing is believing in something. So whatever it is, you hold on to it. But I'll tell you very, very, very clearly that the faith, in the unwavering faith in the power of that thing that made this reality is pretty much everything you'll ever need. Because that way you wake up every day knowing anything can happen. It could be today that your life changes forever. It's not foolishness. People paint these things. People paint optimism. There's part of this book we'll talk about. Optimism is not a sin. We make it look as if it's a sin. Like, oh, you're too... What else should I do? What else? Tell me, what else? Okay, be sad and whine about and cry and moan and hide, put the shit over. What is that doing for me? Nothing. I can at least be optimistic. I might break a foot, injure myself somewhere along the line. It'll heal and I keep doing it. But at least I'm doing something. But how is that possible if you don't already acknowledge that there is a hand that is bigger than you would ever imagine, that can make anything happen whenever, however, and to whoever? You don't have to fit the standard. You don't have to fit the look. You don't have to fit the criteria, the background, the history, nothing. If it's going to happen, it's going to... I mean, you have to study society to recognize many of these things. You have to read stories of people who come out and do just unimaginable things, and you hear where they're from, it just doesn't match. There is no correlation whatsoever for what they became and what they eventually did. So why are you exempting yourself? How bad is your coming up story or come up story, however to say it? How bad can it be? You're here, right? You got a chance. There's some people that don't even have the chance. They don't get the chance. They're stuck in a hospital somewhere. We deal with that every day. Natalie probably knows better about this than most people because of the work that she does every day. We get a chance. They say you wake up every morning, you get a chance and a choice. The chance is a given. It's there. It's yours. But what choice do you make about that day? What choice do you make? What's the thing that you choose to make that day about? Some of the masters say, wherever your heart is, that is where your treasure is. If you focus your heart on the wrong stuff, that's where you're going to find whatever treasure that is. I don't know if that's a good treasure or something else. But you can choose what you really want. You can choose and focus on what you really want. What's the point of choosing otherwise? what does that do for anybody? You can choose the goodness you want to see in the world. You can choose the good you want to see of yourself. You can choose the good, because choosing otherwise doesn't do nothing for you. Choosing to see, not working, I'm bad, I'm blah, 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 it's not going to do anything for you. But you can choose good. Because guess what? We're able to brainwash our brains. I mean, I don't know how that sounds, but I think it makes sense. We're able to brainwash ourselves. Things as simple as laughing, even without something to laugh about, has physiologic effects on your mind and your health. Just fake laughing. I mean, we don't like, literally it does. Because the body registers it at, this person is moving this way, so there has to be some endorphins released, and then it releases that, and you're like, all of a sudden I'm good, because you fake laughed. So why don't you brainwash yourself with optimism? Because you allow it to stay in your heart, and if it is in your heart, you will find it. If you're able to hold on to it long enough, you will find it, and it's important. Now, the practical stuff, the barriers, it's all stories. So you're going to start from today. That's where we're going to really start from. The barriers are mostly going to be about the stories. Look deep inside of yourself. What are some of the stories you've told yourself about who you are and what your purpose is that doesn't match? It doesn't match with what you need to be to get to your happy place. Whatever that is, physical, mental, spiritual, financial, whatever, background. Because that's where the work begins. Identify those stories and you'll start to retell those stories to yourself. And that takes a while. So, feel free, write it down as much as possible, because we're going to go further into some of the practical phases. There's a lot of them, but I to make it easy, I would say, the stories are probably the easier way to, I could give examples, I don't look good enough, or I don't come from that, society, or I don't come from that class of, I don't have this, I don't have that. A lot of this is just stories. It may seem real, but mostly stories. I'm not able, I'm not capable, I don't have that background, I don't have that skill, I'm deficient in this particular thing. You can write it down now, and I think it's very advisable to go back to this later on today and maybe even expand it, for whatever else comes to your mind. And then we'll go to, now that you're identifying the barriers, it will be wise, obviously, to start to talk about how we overcome those barriers. So I said, stories are some of the integral part of how human beings exist in all forms. Even money is a story. If people don't believe me, what's the worth of a paper? What's the worth of a paper? A blank paper. What's the worth of it? Nothing. How come we hold this paper and then all of a sudden it's worth $20 or wherever that is? It's because you and I have agreed on the story that this paper worth whatever price you put on it. Money is a trust based on an agreed story. That's what money is. Otherwise, it's just paper. But we have to agree that this is worth this so that I can exchange it and you can give me a loaf of bread. It's all stories. So if we've identified the stories that prevent us from getting to that place, that happy place, then we have to start retelling the stories. And that's often the first step. There's many ways to retell the story, and I think a lot of it will still come back to something that is outside of you, something that's more powerful outside of you. For those of us who whatever tradition it is your your beliefs, whatever traditions your beliefs are based on, you can at least decide to trust in a bigger hand, in a more capable hand than yourself. And sometimes the story starts from there. As simple as that. As simple as, because I believe in God, everything works out for me. And I'm sure there's many references. I can easily, off the top of my head, I can pick from maybe 4 different traditions, and I tell you lines in each tradition that says something similar. I know what it is in my tradition. In the Christian tradition, I'll give you Romans chapter 8:22. For those of you who remember that, all things work out for good for those, right? So it's in many traditions, the same truth. Like I said, it aligns. It all aligns. If it's true, it would align. You'll find some aligning in there. So you can start from there as one of the steps, and telling yourself that story all the time. So when people say they meditate, you can sit and witness, but parts of it should also be retelling that story back to yourself. The story you want to hear. That it always works out for me. It always works out for me. It's gonna work out somehow. It's gonna work out. It's gonna work out. It's gonna work out. It will work out. It can work out. It will work out. It's gonna work out. No matter how confusing it is, it will work out. Tell yourself, brainwash yourself, and see what happens eventually. See what happens eventually. You will be tested to see whether you believe it. You'll be tested to see whether everybody's smiling because they've been through it, right? You'll be squeezed like dry. Back at home, we washed our clothes with our hands. So to get it dry, you have to squeeze and that's you. You're getting squeezed like a towel, like stretched out. Hey, like, please, I can't take any more than this. She guessed the story, right? Then just like, all right. Let's see what you do, whether you really believe it. And guess what you're doing the entire time? You're giving glory. You're saying, I believe it. Nah, I believe it. I still believe it. It's going to work out. It's still going to work out. Yeah. Right? Liliana, do you agree with that, right? It's still going to work out. So you can start from there, telling yourself that it will work out. Right? Telling yourself that all the time, and telling yourself whatever story you need to tell yourself that gets you to where you want to be. Claim it. Say you are already that thing. Say you already have that thing. Say it. Brainwash yourself. Try it. Try it. I dare you to try it. Try it. You already have that thing. You're not waiting for it. It's not waiting to happen. It's already happened. You may not have recognized it, but it's already happened. And you constantly tell yourself. Let's start with the stories. You don't need to do more than this. Start with the stories. Start that as a daily practice. Tell yourself the stories you want to hear that allows you to remember who you are, and that allows you to remember where you need to be walking towards according to your purpose. Don't tell yourself any other story, because it has no... The other stories don't have any good for you. They're not going to serve you in any way. They're going to destroy the world. How about that? Do you want the world to be destroyed because they're going to destroy the world, because guess what? You keep telling yourself the story. You ruin every chance that you get to participate in this magic and this beauty, and somebody will suffer because they don't get to see what you've been brought to offer. Somebody will suffer because they don't get to witness what you've been made to offer. Think about that person. Yeah, it's the human thing to do, right? Think about that person that doesn't get to see the magic you've been made to perform. And keep telling yourself the stories that get you there. The stories that get you to perform in that magic. There's many things that happens in our days that we don't, and that's why for us in lifestyle medicine, it's a deep thing to health. Meaning, we in modern medicine we tend to associate wellness and healing with putting stuff in your body. And that has to be the last resort, as far as I'm concerned. We've tried everything. Oh, we can't figure it out. Now let's figure out whatever we have based on God's wisdom and knowledge that He's taught us about what we need to do with the things that are around us, whether synthetic or natural, whatever they are. Yeah, but that can't be the beginning point. So for us, lifestyle is the first thing. The food you put in your mouth, the way you move your body, because your body has been designed to move. You know how many joints you have all over your body? All over. Bones. What are they there for? So you can move. So if you're not moving, you're killing yourself. You know, social connections, sleep. Why is sleep necessary? So you can sleep, get refreshed, and wake up and continue fighting the good fight. So it's important, right? You know, stress management. You're good. You're good.
Sorry.
You know, you're good. You're good. Please. That's important. We'll have the recording on the YouTube so you can watch more of it. Thank you so much for coming. Appreciate that. You got your book, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We're actually almost at the end, so you're not going to miss much.
Okay.
All right. Cool. Thank you. The lifestyle habits, we may underestimate the impacts of them, but they're the things that allow us to fight the good fight. If you put the wrong food in your body, you're not going to be primed to fight the good fight. If you're not moving your body, you're not going to be primed to fight the good fight, because the good fight, sometimes you have to run. You have to either run from danger or run towards opportunities. So you have to be ready to, take it from run, right? So you have to keep moving. Stress management, it allows you just remove a lot of those barriers, the stories. And, have you ever been so stressed out at work and then you don't sleep because of that, and then you wake up and you just want to tell yourself the worst things about yourself? Like, nah, I'm not going to make it. It's all coming to trash. It's all falling down today. Not because it's all falling down today, but because there's nothing's going on in here. You're not sleeping, you're stressed out. So all of these things are important to do so we can be primed to continue to fight the good fight. Social connection is a big part. For most of us, there's a story out of a book, Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, that talked about two communities in rural Pennsylvania, I think. Earlier on, there were communities that were made by Italian immigrants to Pennsylvania at the time. And I think it was in Pareto, Pennsylvania is the name of the place. And in two towns. One of the towns had very similar diet and nutrition and whatnot with the other town. And they realized in that Pareto town, they never had heart attacks. And this was like in the 50s when heart attacks was like the thing, the widowmaker, as they call it back then. How come they never had that? And there's some researcher came and started doing, the doctor that was there was like, man, I haven't seen something like this before, involved other researchers, and then they came and started doing, all sorts of research, trying to figure it out. And then they looked in this town of Pareto and realized they ate the worst food. And again, I'm not advising that. They smoked, they did everything bad. Like the oil, the butter was like thick. How come they're not having heart attacks? But then they realized that most of the families lived together. They're sitting outside during the day. The grandma knows all of the children in the neighborhood. Everybody knows each other. They go to church together. They do things together. They share their pains together. And that was the first time we in the medical community realized the impact of social connections. And again, it doesn't have to be romantic partners, just being among people, human beings that are going through life, just like you're going through life. And sharing with them. And in fact, I always make the mention in England, there's this ministry I think is about, it's not actually ministry of loneliness, but people have called it ministry of loneliness because the goal of what they're trying to do is to help older women who are, isolated, because they realize the impact of that isolation, the social isolation, on their health and wellness. and it's real, it's tangible, it's traceable. So they made that ministry to support a lot of these women, and they had very positive impact. So again, a lot of what we're talking about here in terms of daily habits has to be around those things. You figure it out. We'll talk more, a lot to talk about in those areas: nutrition, physical activity. Just pick 2 that you could fix. Pick 2 you could do better on. Sleep, movement. Maybe you want to work out more now. Maybe 3 days in a week as opposed to 1 time in 3 weeks. Fix something that is easy for you to fix, and you write that down, and then you will make a personalized task list. We have several recommendations. A lot of our recommendations are mostly around, obviously, the affirmations, the lifestyle habits, nutrition, physical activities, and then we'll share them in time. But this is really for you to explore. Personally, you know yourself better than any doctor will ever know you. You know yourself better than any wellness provider will ever know you, and you're the best doctor to yourself if you really wanted to pay attention to yourself. And we're just here to support, and that's probably what we're doing today. Thank you so much for spending the time. It's been a pleasure of mine. Like I said, it's been 8 years I've had this as a vision, and it's here today, and I'm very thankful to God for it, and thankful to all of you for participating. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Very good. Thank
Yes,
you, Dr. Patai.
Yes, sir.
Can I share a takeaway?
Please.
So, at the beginning, when you said